absolute pleasure to bring up our next speaker, and I am so thrilled for you guys to meet him and to hear from him. He's somebody that I have worked with for quite a while now in a different capacity. He's been a vendor and a consultant and a support, somebody who's helped the Viridian work through many of our growth opportunities. And to now have the opportunity to have Paul Booth leading this company, to have his knowledge, to have his expertise, to have his passion, and you're going to hear it all, to have him at the helm, taking us to this next chapter and these next heights is so exciting, guys. And I love working with him, love collaborating with him. Can't wait for you to get to know him and to hear him. So please welcome, with a warm round of applause, our CEO, Paul Booth.
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
To all the guests in this room, thank you for taking some time tonight to come and check this out. And you might be wondering, wow, what is different about Viridian? There's been some changes. In case you haven't heard, a few weeks ago some things happened. I'm privileged and honored to be here tonight because I can tell you from the heart, for those new people, I sat where you sit tonight. 30 years ago, in the late 80s, I was introduced to this concept called network marketing. And the first, I was $100,000 in debt, student loans. I paid 6 figures for a college education in private school. And it didn't get me anywhere near a 6-figure job coming out of there. And I learned the hard way I had to make up the difference. And a friend of mine introduced me by handing me a VHS tape. Stick this in your VCR and you will be amazed. And I didn't know what he was talking about. And it introduced me on the tape to a whole bunch of ordinary folks making extraordinary incomes selling water filters. A company called NSA, if you're familiar with it, National Safety Association, is still around. It's Juice Plus a Day, fantastic company. It's on the DSA Top 100 list. They're a fantastic company. They've been around forever. And that introduced me to the notion of network marketing. What is this thing? I didn't understand it. Now, I was a computer science IT guy. I was bits and bytes. I am bits and bytes. I'm an analyst. I'll dive into the data. And I'll live, breathe, and die in the data. And what I come out the other end is reports and charts and graphs that help, at that time, my downline that I had built. And so I would literally hand out 5 1/4-inch floppy disks. They were literally floppy disks, you hand them out, and people would stick them in the computer, and I was able to show them how their trends and their downlines would work, and it was very clever. And so I started introducing some tools to the industry. So for the last 18 years, I've been privileged to sit as the founder and CEO of a company called Data Paradigm that services the network marketing industry. So we wrote the IT systems that run these convoluted compensation plans for all of these very, very large network marketing companies. Now I can tell you, point of fact, that in addition to all the IT bits and bytes, we would be in the whiteboard rooms, we would strategize, we would develop the compensation plans if you're interested. I'll tell you all about the 6 different major compensation plan models and the strategies of business and what's happened, but the bottom line is this. We've been privileged and honored to be associated with titans of industry. People that I walk behind and pick up little nuggets of wisdom. And I've learned over the last 18 years what works and what doesn't work. We've been privileged to have been associated with billion-dollar network marketing companies. Did you see the number up there? We're ranked number 53 last year. That means there's 52 companies that are bigger than Viridian in some way. Bigger associates, bigger sales, bigger customers, bigger total volume. The caliber of companies that I've been associated with over the past 18 years, once again, I've been privileged to have done so. Number their sales associates not in the 22,000, 25,000, they number them in the hundreds of thousands of sales reps. They number not their sales aren't in the 324 million, they number their sales in the billions. These are, and you can look them up now, there's several publicly traded ones. You can look at all their quarterly filings right now and see all the data. Network marketing has been around for 60 years. It's a solid business model when it's done correctly with credible companies, with credible products and services. And over the last 18 years, we've been kicking out the very credible checks that go to credible people that have worked the business. They're teachable, they're coachable, they're not full of ego. Early on with NSA, I was full of ego. Man, I'm a computer guy. I got this. I got to walk out of the room, got smacked in the face. And I had to do a 180. I came back, coachable, teachable. I was able to do very well in that business. Consistency with these big companies, coachable, teachable leaders. What's interesting, and once again, I've been where you are and I can get excited about this, and Rob does a fantastic job, and I will look for the cha-ching as we talk, and he is fantastic translating Australian into English and back and forth, and we're thrilled to have him here, so I do encourage you to stick around for it. But I will tell you this from a business side, what's consistent about the big network marketing companies is they start in a room smaller than this. They start with an idea. They start with a widget, a service, product, something that they want to market via network marketing. It might be Avon that got started in cosmetic. It might be nutritional products. It might be deregulation of energy. One in particular I want to tell you about is the deregulation of telecom that happened in the 90s. Anyone familiar with XL Telecommunications? Familiar with that? We ran the IT systems. Towards the end of their run, we turned out massive charts and graphs and bells and whistles that allowed their associates, they were called independent representatives, to just leverage massive systems to create massive, massive wealth and change lives. They took it through the roof. 2.4 million customers, 2.4 million sales reps, 14 million customers. We were doing some 26 languages for them, some 12 or 14 currencies, I can't remember what it was, that we were kicking out. Worldwide growth, and it all started with the deregulation of telecom. Well, what's the average telecom bill at the time? $30. And energy today, what's the average energy bill? $150. You get the difference in the margin that we're able to play with in energy. Deregulation of energy is fantastic, and as a company, we found ourselves associated with several deregulated energy companies. They're out there now, you might have heard some of their names, and they've ridden this wave. It's been tremendous, and the wave continues, because even now, you saw the map. Right now, how many markets is Viridian in? 17 markets right now? It's taken many, many, many more years for states to deregulate, and the opportunity just keeps growing. So, what do we do with this? We've got all this knowledge, all this history, all of this experience that we're able to offer. And so over the course of years, I've been able to garner great friendships with executives of these billion-dollar companies to see what they've done right, and we've helped them grow. Well, Viridian was one of those. We were a vendor for Viridian a number of years ago, and we were privileged to jump in. You might have seen me at a Power Up. You've seen part of the crew there supporting the systems. About 6 months ago, Michael and I started talking. I've been honored to have called him a friend for several years now. And we started talking. We said, what can we do as a vendor to help and support the next phase of growth for Viridian? What are the sticky points? And Michael being very candid, and he'll tell you this story right now. If you haven't seen some of the YouTube postings or Facebook, we've been doing a bit of a tour around the nation, and I'm able to call him a friend of mine, and I'll cherish that forever. And we started talking, and we said, what can we do? And so he said, well, in a publicly traded company, it has a lot of great things, but one thing that is not so great is that it has to answer to a board of directors, it has to answer to shareholders, it has to prioritize its tasks against a whole range of prioritizations that come from different brands. And suddenly the network marketing company can't be nimble. It can't move like it needs to. It can't breathe like it needs to in the industry. And that was very correct. Okay, that makes sense. And we started talking even more, and over the course of time, hey Mike, what do you think? Maybe it's time that we maybe bring that a little private. We'll take it offline from public and out from under the umbrella and carve out everything that's great about Viridian. The culture is amazing. We'll talk about that in a second. The compensation plan, the people that you cannot buy, and we'll talk about Italy here in a second. It's just amazing culture. We'll take all that good stuff, but then we'll get out from underneath the umbrella. For the new folks that are in the room, you may not be aware, but over the course of the last several years, as a publicly traded company, John likes to put it, the handcuffs are off now, the chains are off. I'll give you an example. Cammy touched on it, Rob touched on it. Outside of a publicly traded company, we can now move in directions that we can carry our brand, we can carry the sustainability model that's built us to where we're at, and go attack that other 85% of our footprint that energy doesn't cover. We can attack the other 33 states that energy is not in. We can introduce national footprint products that suddenly, it's a whole new world. Suddenly those handcuffs are off. Those are the directions we can now go as a company, as Viridian. So, back to where I was going before. You start one of these companies, you sit around the room and you got a widget, you want to market it, and it takes forever to get this thing going. You might go with this particular compensation plan model, and these particular leaders that have been with a particular company before, and you throw money at it and you craft it very correctly, and it takes forever to get this they go and it's a big boulder and you gotta push and you gotta push and you guide it and you get out of the way, It takes massive Herculean effort. And finally it's rolling, and that curve goes like this. And 99 times out of 100, when that curve's going like this, it plateaus. It stays up here, and network marketing companies work on the churn. They'll bring in 1 million new reps, and they'll let go of 1 million reps, and it'll just churn at that level. Very rarely in network marketing history does a cataclysmic event happen that can send that plateau into a whole nother curve. We're at 25,000 sales reps right now, nationwide, internationally. Rob's down there, God bless him, to get 2,200, and he had to talk. 10,000, they came on board, they're rocking and rolling down there. We're down here, we're way at this level down here in the chart. We're now back at day one. There's been a feeling, and I've sensed it around in several weeks, about network marketing companies. Man, if you get in a few years in, you missed the boat, Guys, this is day one where we're at right now. Yeah. 25,000, it's nothing compared to the numbers that we're talking about. Johnny LaPresto, if you know him, he's an ambassador, great guy. He was number 700,000 in a company that had 3 million sales reps. This isn't mythical stuff. I ran the IT. I kicked out the checks. I can verify that it is in fact a fact. This isn't pie in the sky numbers. Maybe one day it can happen. It really does. Of course there's no guarantees. Of course not. That's why there's fantastic opportunity here. But it absolutely does happen, and it's happening today. There's 52 companies that are kicking out bigger checks than Viridian today. We're going that direction. 25,000 is a drop in the bucket compared to the hundreds of thousands, the tens of millions, the billion-dollar companies that I'm used to being associated. I'm honored that you guys are here today, that have allowed me to jump in and just leverage a tiny little bit of those nuggets of wisdom over the course of the last 18 years. And I can say, I know what you're feeling. I was there. I can tell you here, I overcame it. The leaders in this room are tremendous if you just utilize. Here's what's great, and I'll say one more thing, and I'll get out, because you guys have been fantastic, and you've sat there more leaders or more speaking than you probably used to. There are leaders in this room that if you just become coachable and teachable, and you just, it's like a cafeteria. You pick some of that, and that might not go well. You pick some of that. If you just open your minds to it, these guys can't be successful without making you successful. In the NSA days, I could buy my ways. I could come in for $5,000 to get started. It's fact. I could buy in for $25,000 and start. I could buy in for $125,000 and start. Brady, they can't spend more than $299 to get started. The system won't let them do that. The only way they can move to the next level is by dragging you along with them, kicking and screaming if they have to. They are desperate to have you at the front of the room and at the table. That's right. And if you look to them and you reach to them, and I get like that, I'm going to calm down in a second. Somebody say, ka-ching. I'm telling you that they will bring you along. At the same time, you know what's great about this company? Your success does not depend on theirs. In other words, if your sponsor quits, mine did 2 levels above me. He quit the business. Worst decision he ever made in his life. That doesn't stop me. The company allows you to leapfrog. Viridian does that. That's correct compensation plan. Not all of them are correct in the industry. A very correct, good compensation plan allows you to promote on your efforts. Guys, the chains are off. What does that mean? You can go as slow as you want to in this business. The system will allow that. And you can create life-changing $200 a month. You know what happens if you talk to somebody and you actually ask them, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a relative, and at the end of the month they've got $100 left over spending money usually. Maybe you call it $200. If you show them how to make another $200, you've just doubled their available cash. You've changed their lives fundamentally. Just a couple $100. That opportunity exists today in Viridian. If you want to hightail it and kick it into gear, this opportunity exists as well. Talk to some of the ambassadors that are here. Talk to some of the partners that are here. Talk to these guys, John and Lola, especially Ed. Talk to all of these guys, and they will tell you what's available to you. Are you going to walk out of here and make $1 million this week? Of course not. I'm a big fan of expectations. Of course not. If anybody says, no, this is not a lottery ticket. What network marketing is with a very good company like Viridian, there's no better way, direct proportion to the efforts that you put in, is what you get out of it, and that's a fact. What Viridian is for you today is a fantastic opportunity at the timing. What is 25,000 after a few years? That's a great start. We're down here and we're going up there. Guys, I'm honored to have you with me. I'm Generation B. My name's Paul Booth. Thank you for being here.